Savage Dragon 91 from September of 2001. The bitch is back. Rapture makes her return. A real lightning rod of a character, maybe one of the most iconic of the series. Despised by some, loved by others, ogled by all. So let's see how Dragon's ex-girlfriend and baby's mama gets back in his life in the Savage world. Before we do, it's time to celebrate our favorite pastime. Not baseball, but insulting Josh Eckhorn, who is sitting behind home plate, spreading mustard on his wiener. Savage Dragon Rapture, says the title page here. I love the lettering by Chris Eliopoulos, of course. Writer and artist, Eric Larson, Ruben Rude, and Abel Motown on colors. So Frank Darling and Dragon stand in front of a grave, paying off that cover to the last issue, where Dragon returned to Chicago and reunited with Frank, who told him that Officer Alex Wilde was long dead, killed by a dragon in his citywide rampage while he was possessed. So I hope you like lengthy expository dialogue, because this issue is just chock full of it. One of the great philosophers of my generation once said, if I wanted to read, I'd go to school, Beavis. Holy shit, look at all this text, man. Larson even jokingly attempted to provide like footnotes in the back here for all this stuff, but before giving up halfway through. And it goes on like this forever. Just feels like a homework assignment. So like Cliff Notes, TLDR, Dragon and Frank go on a sightseeing journey through Chicago, filling each other in on all the shit that's been going on. And these characters are just kind of catching each other up to speed. Therefore, the reader also gets up to speed if you're lapsed and haven't read some issues in a while. But for our purposes, I'll just mention the new info, like that Frank's missing arm was actually ripped off by the dragon in that same rampage that killed Alex. Let's see, Beast Boy and Feasel here. They are on a recovery mission for Neutron Bob, but all they found was a sack of cash that he was carrying from the bank robbery. Some more dialogue here that nothing we don't know. Except for here, Frank tells Dragon that Jennifer and Angel are alive. They had left town before things got too crazy in Chicago. And this news just puts a big smile on Dragon's face. I don't think we've seen him that happy in a long time, so that's pretty nice. Let's see, what else we got going on here? This new character, Rex Dexter. Frank thinks that he might be able to help the dragon. So he used to be a superhero back in the 60s named Battle Tank. That's him there. He was in the Liberty League, where he fought alongside Super Patriot back when Super Patriot was a human. And Mighty Man's also on the Liberty League. And so but there's Battle Tank there. That's Rex Dexter in the Battle Tank suit. And so there was a flashback with Rex Dexter in issue 47, but he shows up more prominently in this Super Patriot miniseries here, number 2. So Rex Dexter is a scientist who created this battle tank like mech armor. And he's older now, obviously. But this guy is pretty much responsible for radically changing the Savage Dragon universe. It's not obvious yet, but he mentions that his daughter is in the void, lost in the void, along with his protege, Sterling Mason, and we'll meet them in future issues. But this void that they're lost in, it turns out to actually be Dimension X. And that is a whole nother can of worms. So Dimension X, if you don't know, is like pretty... it's responsible for a lot of shit that happens in Savage Dragon, so we're just now getting into that stuff coming up in issue 95 there. But anyway, Rex basically, says he'll help take out Cyberface if Dragon will help rescue his daughter. So looks like Devastator here, a.k.a. Dale Fisher. He survived his battle with the dragon in last issue, and he's on the hunt for our hero. Meanwhile, Dragon is on a hunt of his own. He's chatting up some sex workers there, looking for Rapture or Sharona Jackson. So this should look kind of familiar. Larson is reusing a few panels from issue 44, back when Dragon was looking for Rapture on Dark World. Reused these 3 panels there. It's pretty clever. Except this time, Dragon actually finds her. What a sight for sore eyes. Same hair and outfit and everything, but a way more vicious attitude. She lights up the dragon as soon as he gets close. Apparently, like, she only really knew him as, like, the cop who arrested her for prostitution, so she has no reason to think this guy is friendly. She lights him up here again, and I love this panel with Rapture in all black silhouette, and then just her costume kind of in color there. It's pretty cool. Kind of a Sin City Frank Miller vibe. And Larson admitted he was a fan of the series, and he had been inspired by that recently. So let's see. Battle continues, and Dragon cannot talk any sense into her, and she threatens to turn him in for the reward. And then she shocks him in his junk, and he tries like one last time to calm her down, but it turns out she's a total nut job. She starts ranting about how she's an angel and she has invisible angel wings, and the police tried to erase her memories, and she can walk through walls. All this, along with another jolt, and Dragon lets her run away out of his life one more time. So a lot of exposition, some set up for the inevitable confrontation with Cyberface, but that's it for that one. On to Fanatics. Here's the footnotes I mentioned earlier. After that, Larson mentions that he's behind schedule, but he's finished work on his other books, so it's full steam ahead to the 100th issue. Also, he mentions that the Superman Savage Dragon crossover will be coming out soon. We covered that in another video, but man, I cannot believe how long that has taken. Plenty of letters in this one, 8 pages worth. Lots of positive reaction to Killcat and the Deadly Duo in this one, issue 89. And we'll see Killcat later here. So Doug Nelson asked about Larson's thoughts on the McFarlane Neil Gaiman lawsuit over the character Angela. And Larson says that, writing a character doesn't mean creating or owning them. Neil seems too territorial over things he comes in contact with. He created Angela in the pages of Spawn, but Todd visualized her and conceptually she was a little more than a glorified evil twin. So what did he bring to the table? Not much from where I'm sitting. I'm sure he'd disagree, but moving on. There is a dude here, Harold Jensen, who talks about getting a Savage Dragon tattoo. Larson says that he's gotten a number of pictures from Fanatics over the years with their dragon tattoos, and he always has the same reaction. You guys are nuts. Ken Albury has the last letter here, and he brings up Digital Comics, specifically Larson putting Savage Dragon comics on the internet. And he replies that he don't get your hopes up. I don't know any publishers who post their books online. So that's kind of funny, and it's just a snapshot of where we were about 25 years ago. On to Savage Tales, the new strip by Nick Darrington and Brian Blake. This one featuring Killcat. It's a nostalgic tale of being in the arcade in the 80s, and it ends with Killcat getting kicked in his nuts. Got Dragonbert by Carl H. And this strip is just relentless in its mockery of Rob Liefeld. Says he can't draw backgrounds or feet, all the low-hanging fruit. And it just ends with him quitting comics and flipping burgers instead. But the orders get canceled because of low sales. So, all right, that's it for this one. We got some ads for the next 4 issues, including one called Endgame. So we're building towards the showdown here. And it all starts with issue 92. Bring on the bad guys, the return of the vicious circle. Adios.